The Gallant Few Rangers podcast is brought to you by Triple H Mortgages, the one-stop shop for all your mortgage and mortgage insurance needs. Contact them today on 01453 887 179 or hello@hhhmortgages.com. You can also find them online at hhhmortgages.com or on their Facebook page. Hello and welcome to the Gallant Few podcast, the podcast dedicated to all things surrounding the champions of Scotland, Glasgow Rangers. That will never get old. My name's Colin MacDuff and I'm delighted to be joined today by, first of all, Mr. Graeme Currie. Graeme, have you recovered physically, mentally, emotionally since we last spoke?
Just starting to get over it. I think it's starting to sink in that we are actually the champions now. So it was a bit of a whirlwind week, wasn't it?
I know. Every time I think about it, I don't know, I see like a really nice tweet or a video or whatever, and I get soaked back in there, and then I'm just right back at the start of the frenzy.
It's been fantastic. I think maybe this podcast will be a wee bit more coherent thought. Last week was a bit manic, thinking about everything, and it was jumping all over the place, but it was really good to relive it so soon after.
And my next guest, Scott Hodge. Thanks for joining us, Scott. This is your first appearance on the Gallant Few since we were crowned champions. Indulge your listeners for a wee minute. I don't think we can ever talk too much about this, seeing as it's only been 8 days since we won it. So, how are you feeling?
It seems like ages ago. It's been excellent. It's just one of those things. I think we knew it was going to happen. It was just when it was going to happen. Especially, I was always very nervous about speaking about becoming champions. But when I really started to believe it and thought I wouldn't slip away was the second Old Firm, and I just thought to myself, it's going to take something extra special from Celtic for them to be crowned, or they're 10 in a row or whatever. So the fact that we can now say it is, definitely it's our name's on the trophy. It's tremendous, and couldn't be happier.
I know what you mean about the second Old Firm game. You need to be a special kind of football team to win a game without even getting a shot on target. But that's for another day. So before we go into the last match and the upcoming fixtures, I'm sure most people would have most likely have heard rumours through WhatsApp or Twitter or even messaging or speaking to their friends or family around Walter Smith. Rangers did tweet on Saturday, Rangers Football Club can confirm Walter Smith had an operation on Monday and he is currently recovering in hospital. His family have requested privacy at this time. Graeme, I don't really know too much what we can say other than our best wishes go out to Walter and his family.
There is nothing that be said. Colin, that is it. Your respective wishes of the family. So get well soon, Sir Walter, and that should be it.
Scott, it's this is something that is, as much as I think it is absolutely terrible. Well, it is terrible that somebody would think to make up a rumour or start spreading rumours, stuff like that. I'm glad the club came out and nipped that in the bud Saturday, but you can understand people's frenzy about wanting to get information about this. He's post-war. He is Rangers, isn't he?
No, definitely. It matters so much to this club. It's terrible. The rumours. To be honest, he is, because of his success as a manager, assistant manager. He's going to bring news, and that's why people have maybe spread it. And it's obviously we wish him a speedy recovery, and we want to see him. Want them to see his live 55 there. So yeah, our best wishes. But all the rumours and stuff like that. I think Rangers did a really nice job. They seen the murmurs going about, and they just thought we're nip this in the bud, and it was, a straight to the point statement just there. So, yeah.
No. And again, you need to be like a special type of degenerate to even think about starting to just like start spreading rumours or whatever based in false information. But speedy recovery, Sir Walter, and for everyone at Gallant for you, hope all is well. So moving back onto the football scene, I'm going to heavily rely on you two boys here because I had the worst link. I don't know. I don't know if anybody important listens to this. The worst illegal link ever for the Slavia Prague game on Haysgrove, and it was. I maybe got about 10 seconds of watching it and then about 40 seconds of buffering. So at one point I was 7 minutes behind Radio Clyde when I was listening. It's a bad day when you resort to Gordon DL and Mark Wilson for analysis. But Graeme, this was really a game of two halves, wasn't it? Or was it a game of waiting on Rangers sobering up? What do you think?
No, I think that's a fair assessment. Just before half-time, I would say we started to come out with our shell, but Slavia Prague just came right at us, right from the start. Pressure they put on us was incredible. I don't think we won't put it down to hangovers or anything like that. I think we'll put it down to Slavia Prague's pressing game. They were absolutely all over us right from the start. Didn't give us a minute. Did not give us a minute on the ball. And forced quite a lot of errors from us, and that probably affected our confidence as well, because anytime we did try to get a pass or play it out, we just couldn't get out at all. They were just swarming us. I think they made a conscious effort to target Patterson at right back, so I think they must have realised that he was maybe inexperienced and thought he was one to get at, but he stood up to that. He stood up to that test the full night. It was the goal that they scored very early, I think maybe 6 minutes. They scored from a ball going into the right back position, but you couldn't fault Patterson. I think it was actually Hodge maybe that we should have been chasing back. Somebody should have been there anyway. Patterson done his job well, held it up, and then the ball got played back. And that finish, sometimes you put your hands up and just say nothing you can do about that. The only thing is stop it in the first place. Don't give him as much time. So I say Hadji, but whoever it should have been, there should be a right midfielder in there who should have dropped in and tried to stop that. But even after that, they still continued to batter us. When I say batter, I just mean by in terms of possession. They were just in control of the game. They controlled it, passed it about well, get in behind us a few times. Thought they were really good at doing that, but not too many shots. Not too many shots in it were goal. We seemed to be dealing okay with it, dealing with their attacks okay, and limited them to just very few shots. But it was a worrying 30 minutes for me. I thought this could become quite bad. And as I said at the start, I don't put that down to hangovers or lack of preparation at all. It was just how good they were. But yeah, that was my assessment of the first 30 minutes, and it wasn't until after that we started to come back into the game.
Scott, Rangers at their best in Europe and domestically, as they very rarely get outfought physically or in terms of a fitness sense. Rangers are the best. It's a high press and they're constant. We spoke about we spoke time and time again about the shape that the front three keep and just a constant off the ball movement. And the likes of Ryan Kent, maybe out with Bayer Leverkusen. I don't think I've seen this Rangers side come up a team who can match us in that physical aspect with what Graeme was saying. I think there has been more technical teams we've played, but that must have been a shock to the system because Rangers, for the most part, will be the fitter team in the pitch.
I think it is. I think you're right. The way I describe it is they were like Duracell bunnies, but it was 10 of them just going out and pressing us. We didn't really know how to control it, and I thought it was interesting with Gerrard, because they were mentioning it in commentary as well, that we had a really low sort of press on, so like we weren't right, pressing their defence there. And Gerrard sort of said he wanted to get a feel of the fixture. It's obviously, you can view it as 180 minutes, these knockout games. So, he wants to get a feel of what they're like and things like that. So stick off, let us see what they're all about. Whether that's the right decision or not, I don't know. But you've seen right at the second half where, they were taking I remember one point they were taking a goal kick and we had 3 players on their 18-yard line. That shows how intense we were and what a difference it made. I know we've got an advantage here. We've got an away goal, and we're going to move on to the game on Thursday. But I really think we need to start at that and play them at their own game in terms of that. But in terms of I thought they were a cracking outfit, and I know there's a lot of players linked with big moves from Slavia Prague, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them. I know that Souček's at West Ham now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few players leave for English Premier League, and tell you I wouldn't mind a few of them in the Rangers team as well.
Graeme, you mentioned the first goal, and I think you're right. Sorry, the Slavia Prague goal. I think you're right. You can't give too much fault with Patterson. He stands up well. He makes sure that the winger doesn't get to the byline, get a ball in. He has to cut it back, but I'm in two minds whether to just insert clips for the previous pause where we speak about European football and losing goals. Fucking shut them down. Like, how many times have we said we can see goals by no closing players down quick enough? At this point, it was Yanis Hadji, and we've tried all different theories of why this keeps happening. But is it because we don't have the likes of Ryan Jack in that right side midfield role? Is that the risk that we run?
Yeah, we've got to. Yeah, we've spoken about it a few times where when Jack's not there, you don't get the coverage. You don't get the wide coverage anyway. It's just not there. Usually you've got Tav bombing forward and leaving gaps, so the midfield know that they need to do that. But I think we're just caught cold. I really do. I just think we weren't expecting such a high pace start from them. It was incredible, and it's also a tactic by them. They must have just went, right, let's get at them right from the start, and so they did. It was quite interesting. They had fans as well. I think they had about 200 fans in, and it made a difference. You could hear the fans, and I thought that was, it was just such a surreal. And it was like polite clapping. It wasn't like mental singing or anything, but it made for a little bit of an atmosphere, which was quite good. And maybe that just spurred them on, just gave them that wee extra 5% at the start of that game. But yeah, I don't know how we do it. I think Gerrard said after the game that he's going to just put his hands up and say it was a great goal, but I think that's immediately after the game. I wonder if he had maybe, now that he's had time to assess it, would he maybe have a wee look at that in a different way? Because yeah, for me, it should have been closed down a lot earlier.
Aye, the fact that the boy, the Prague player, has time to almost like reposition himself for his run up to it. He's got so much time before Hadji gets anywhere near him, and that's. I don't want to give too much criticism to Hadji. Hadji is at his best when he's kind of got the free role, almost the number 10 behind the striker. He is a playmaker, but that's something like we need everybody to be a bit sharper and a bit more reactive, definitely. So Scott, Graeme mentioned there about the 30-minute mark. That's kind of when you've seen Rangers start to come into the game and look a bit more confident. Also, we get a goal from Big Phil that absolutely poacher's instinct here. I thought it was a half-decent ball in for Barisic, but so much credit. I've just had a go at Hadji there. So much credit has to go to Hadji for no giving up, and just Helander, that's you'd expect like Chris Boyd to be there. You know what I mean? It's just instinct.
Oh, no, Hadji. That was the first thing that took me. He was quick to react. He was so intelligent to cut it back, and it looks as though he was going to get a clattering off the board, and like, no fear at all. I know that's maybe something, but like usually with maybe flair players, they might not want to get dirty, but I think Hadji's got that side to him, a bit of spark, not scared to get his foot in. So he really just such intelligence to cut the back there. And I mean, I don't know, he couldn't have seen Hollander. He just put the ball into a lovely area. And for all the praise we're giving Slavia Prague, I think I wouldn't be happy if that was a Rangers defence just letting somebody run free in the box. I think there was maybe 4 or 5 of them just standing there watching Hollander come in there. I think they thought the ball was out, but if it wasn't for Hodge. So yeah, we really needed that goal. I think I was quite happy going into the break at 1-0 because I was a bit like yourself, Graeme. Like we could take a hiding here if we get 1-0, regroup, maybe make a few changes tactically. But that goal just gave us that bit of confidence, and it was just this is where like players like Davis and McGregor are just so crucial. Like just hold out the one each to the half time, get in, we refocus, and then again Gerrard mentioned it in his post match conference. He sort of went 2 up top to help that and win the ball back a bit quicker and drop somebody into a more central 10 position, which really seemed to help us. And and we move on. Obviously, we'll move on to the second half. There was spells where we were looking very well. I can remember like Aribo getting more involved. He had a great game, I thought. And yeah, that goal. If we didn't get that goal, I think we just needed something like that. Just even if it was a deflected goal or something, it just gave us that extra confidence and to know that we've got that away goal. And yeah, thank God it was just before half time.
Yeah, it was that kind of 5-6 minute period where we were playing well, we were looking a bit more confident, and see when you have a good spell in the game, like maybe 10-15 minutes you don't get a goal from, it can absolutely ruin your mentality for the second half. So it was a great time to get a goal, especially when we were starting to feel our way into the game. Graeme, I agree with Scott. I thought for what I've seen, Rangers, probably arguments that both teams could have took to the game in the second half, but Rangers certainly had their chances, didn't they?
Yeah, good chances for Aribo, Kent and Goldson. Goldson's probably the one I was most frustrated with. I don't know if he's ducked out the way of it or he's seen it late, but he really should have been attacking that. I can only put it down to he's seen it late because he's no ducked a header in his life, so that's the only thing I can put that down to. But that one to me that's when I had me up at my seat thinking, right, we've done this sort of thing. But Aribo was the catalyst. I think he was getting the plaudits in the commentary, but rightly so as well. He was the one that was picking the ball up, finding the space, and bringing us up the pitch because we had been sort of camped in a wee bit in the first half. So he was getting us pushed that wee bit further up the pitch, which was good. Morelos was doing a lot of running. I thought Morelos played really well, actually. He was doing a lot of running for us, holding it up and creating that space for Aribo. He was the one. He had to drop back a few times. So he was having to pull into the midfield to actually pick up the ball for the defence. But that was the thing that started to create space. Aribo's shot as well. I'm trying to think back to it. He could have done a wee bit better with that as well. It's just something he needs to improve on. I don't know how he does it, but he just always seems to stick out a big lanky leg and doesn't really seem to put his body in front of it. He's all skill, he's all flair, and he's all dribble. Just needs a wee bit of drive or something, just a wee bit more solidity. I think probably just to have the confidence to go and have a shot, because we've seen in the past, even in Europe, that he is capable of it.
I thought the Kent chance, that was the one that had me up in my seat. It was a weird one, wasn't it? He kind of mishits it almost, but I thought that was a terrific save for the keeper.
Yeah, ball went into the day. I think he's meant it. I don't know if it's a miss-hit, but I know what you mean. It wasn't a clean strike, but I think he's done the right thing by putting it into the ground first to allow it to bounce. But yeah, that was a close one.
And the other end, Scott, as I mentioned, Slavia Prague had their chances as well. I just want to talk about Alan McGregor. I mean, what can you say? He actually had a really good save in the first half from the from a free kick. That was an excellent save, but we've not really spoken about that because the save right towards the end where, I mean, all the years his antics obviously have gave him very strong fingers. Saving it with a pinky from behind, that's unreal, isn't it? He was just man of the match.
World class, Saps. World class, and I mean, saying this, it obviously sounds biased, but I think he's one of the best goalkeeper, the British goalkeeper out there. I can't think of anybody who's been so consistent, pulls off the type of saves, almost every week, and Europe especially. It was an unbelievable save. I couldn't believe it. I honestly, I thought the ball burst or something, or the person had missed the header, because the way the camera angle went in the first, it was obviously trapped under his body. And I was like, where has the ball went? I've watched that save about 100 times, and it's just been fantastic. I mean, people are obviously going to compare it to the Werder Bremen save. I think the Werder Bremen save is instinctive. That's brilliant. He's just it's not guess where it's going, but it's very much a off chance to save it. But that one is just quick feet movement. The fact that he's just, he knows that he just needs a wee touch to bring it close to him as well. Just that unbelievable save from an unbelievable keeper. I don't know if you've seen what Barry Ferguson said as well. He said because Gerrard obviously hinted that maybe the contract's on the table there for him, and he said he should handcuff McGregor to the Rangers training centre changing rooms and make him sign that contract, because there's no way he can leave. So that was some great praise from.
I know what you mean about it is different for the Bremen save. With this one, he is outstretched, and he has to have such strength in his arm as well, even being fully stretched and getting to the deck so quickly. It was a wonderful save, and I think I don't think anybody would have expected McGregor to. I mean, you never really see aging players. Every player will kind of. No, they'll start to reduce their impact towards the end of their career, but you don't tend to see them have a second spike, if you get me. Yeah. McGregor's had that. I mean, he was brilliant last year, but he probably wasn't at the heights he was his first time around. But this season, he's
maybe better.
Maybe even better. Graeme, I think the signing of John McLaughlin, to kind of go off tangent here, the signing of John McLaughlin has so much to do with this. I think when John McLaughlin came in, all of us said that this would be a good signing if, at bare minimum, he makes McGregor even 0.5% better. He's done more than that. Am I looking too much into that? Is this a...
No, not at all. I was on this pod. I was saying at the beginning of the season, is it McLaughlin's jersey now? I mean, I was actually saying, maybe it's time McGregor took a wee back step here and he just maybe drifts away. And that was when he was, he did have an injury at the start of the season and he was recovering from injury, which is why McLaughlin got some game time. But I don't think McGregor would have needed a kick up the arse, but if he needed one, that was it. There's a willing and ready goalkeeper ready to take your place here. So yeah, I'll easily put my hands up to that one. I was thinking that McGregor might certainly be in his last season and could probably just maybe be phased out, but he's proved me wrong the full season. The amount of clean sheets he's had is incredible. Scott's right, there's no a better British goalkeeper just now. When you think about, who's the England goalkeeper? Pickford. Who challenges him? I mean, Pickford is absolutely hopeless as a goalkeeper in comparison. When you look at him compared to Alan McGregor, it's night and day. So I don't think it's an understatement to say that McGregor is world class. He is right up there. He could easily be playing top of the Premier League in England. Amount of clean sheets has obviously been a huge thing for us this season. That's what we've built it on, and a lot of that goes to the defence. We don't allow many shots, but so much of that's down to McGregor as well. He's not allowed many things past him at all this season. So absolutely phenomenal season he's had.
It really is, and it's between the defence and McGregor, it's no wonder all the chat about who's potentially a player of the year. Goldson, Tavernier and McGregor in every conversation. We'll all have different opinions on who will edge it, but I think that's a conversation for later in the season, because it is still March as much as the title's done and dusted. There's still quite a bit of football to play, but no, absolutely terrific performance with McGregor, and not just that night but all season. So Graeme, I'll stick with you. Scott mentioned that he'd want Rangers to have a bit more of an aggressive press for the outgo on Thursday night for the home leg at Ibrox. How do you see this playing out, and are you confident?
Yeah, I think first 5 minutes will be important for us. I think we'll need to show them that we will operate at a high pace. Don't let them get any confidence, because if they do start the way they started against us last week, they'll take confidence from that. If they can even get a shot on target in the first 10 minutes, or start to push us back, they'll take confidence from that. So we definitely need to be at the traps early. Then I think we can maybe settle down. Maybe first 5-10 minutes, go at pace at them, make sure, let them know that they're going to need challenges, but then we can start to play our game and get control of the ball and pass it about, and hopefully retain possession a lot better. If we retain possession, I think that will eat up time and just frustrate them a little bit. The longer we can hold off, the longer they'll need to, or the quicker they'll need to come out. And when they come out, that's when we'll start to pick holes, I imagine. I'm hoping Jack's back. I'd like to see him back in. I don't know how his injury's coming. I've not really seen anything in the last few days, but I really hope he's coming back into contention. But no, after watching that, I am confident. I'm confident that we can go through. I'm confident we can keep a clean sheet. If we do that, we're through. So as long as we do that, we're through. And I can certainly see us scoring. There was enough opportunities in that game to see that we will create something. Crosses into the box, even if it's a Barisic free kick, just anything into the box will cause them trouble. So I expect a goal from a corner, or a free kick, or a cross, something like that will grant us an opportunity that I'm sure we'll take.
Scott, this away goal is going to be massive, and it is such a weird mentality in Europe where even a 1-each draw is almost like a win if it's away, taking it into the second leg. But I agree with Graeme. I think this season Rangers have shown that they can manage games, they can manage situations. I think with the scoreline being as it is, Prague, as much as they were aggressive and on the front foot, they're going to have to leave themselves a bit more exposed to have a go it is. And I think if Rangers are at their best, they know how to manage that situation.
I think we praise all the time a European approach it's been second to none. It's maybe even what's kept Gerrard. I know obviously we're looking and Gerrard's the hero just now, but he was under a lot of pressure last season, letting that league the lead slip at the top and things like that. So I think the European performances in his first 2 seasons has gave him that in the bank. So everything we do has been set up for European football, and yeah, I completely agree. They'll need to get a goal. It's them that's doing it's them that need to up the performance and everything. So to qualify, they obviously need to get a goal. So my only concern, and as I mentioned there, we need to be in the front foot. I think if we sit back and let them play, we're going to be in for a long night, and that could be trouble. So we need to, as I say, start quick, press them high and hard, and I would actually be looking for, I know you said Jack there, I actually like Arfield in these situations as well. I think he's really good at giving us that energy in midfield and drives the team on. Whether he starts or not is a different question, but I would maybe like to see him certainly get at least 30 minutes, because that's where I think he excels in, really putting the press on.
So who would your midfield three be that you're starting?
Oh, I don't know, no idea. Probably Davis, Kamara and Arfield I would go for.
And who? So would that be Aribo pushing up?
Yeah, I'd push Aribo up. Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, Graeme. I'm a big fan of the Kamara, Jack Davis, in big European games, but I'm just a creature of habit. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd be going with that. I'd be going Kamara, Davis, and Jack too. Had you dropping out Aribo, Kent, and Morelos, that would be my midfield. Back four picks at sale, because I think Tav probably still be out. Or does it pick itself? Would you play Hollander still? I think maybe he was getting caught at. I think he get caught once with pace for that boy. I don't know. You get in behind him. So maybe Balogun comes in there. I'm not sure.
I actually noticed a wee bit in the first half. Don't know if well, obviously you're dodgy like Colin, but I felt as though they were leaving Hollander on it sometimes and letting him try and play it with it a bit more. And they were pressing high, but it was almost as if they were leaving Hollander on, as if they thought that he's not going to do much with the ball. And he was playing a few passes. This was just in the first half especially, and he was just playing balls over the top where the game was very frantic at that time. So I don't know if they've seen that as maybe like, oh, he can't do anything in the ball. I thought he had a good game, Hollander. I'm not saying he didn't. I thought he defended really well and obviously got the goal, but I thought it was quite interesting the way that they almost like just wanted him to come forward with it to leave a gap in behind. So Balogun might be a good shout actually to do that, but I know he's obviously everybody's had the week break. I think he got about a few minutes at St Mirren. You want to throw him into a big knockout tie like that, it might be maybe a bit harsh on Hollander, but I can certainly see your reasons for maybe looking at Balogun, bringing Balogun back in.
I don't know if teams are maybe looking at how effective Connor Golson's been with the ball this season and just assume that another centre half must be terrible with it, because that's the historic makeup here centre back partnership. One can play with the ball, the other one's just a big bruiser who'll weather anybody that comes anywhere near them. But
me and Craig McAdam, that was
Ian Craig McAdam.
Who was that? The one that could play from the back.
At least said the better. But no, I'd be sticking with Hollander, and I just think his positional sense and how he complements Golson and Barisic as well, to be fair. I think for Europe I'd be keeping him in for now. So once we scud Prague 4-0 at Ibrox, we've got the small matter of an Old Firm game, or Glasgow Derby if you're a stupid Celtic employee who's more than happy to pay for the rights of the term but never use it. That's a bit fucking stupid, isn't it? It's like these guys who collect trainers. That's what I see that being like. You know, why buy trainers just to never going to wear them? Why would Celtic pay for the Old Firm term if you're never going to use it? Fucking madness. But it's like let's not be about the bush. This is never a nothing game. This is the first game as champions. It's the third Old Firm game of the season. There's never a nothing game for an Old Firm for me, but I think, especially now that we are champions, I see this as such a huge occasion, because I want to go and just rub their face in it and wipe the floor with them and be bad winners. If that's what it's called, be bad winners, and just absolutely flaunt that we are the dominant team. Obviously, a lot depends on how Thursday goes, but Graeme, would you be looking for certain players to get more game time on Thursday, or set up a certain way? Like, for example, if Arfield doesn't start, would you bring him in, or vice versa with Jack?
Maybe Roof. I think if Roof continues to come back, I'd maybe fancy him in the Old Firm game. A wee bit more physicality up front. I'd quite fancy him to do a bit of damage, actually. So I'd be quite happy to see him in. Midfield, well, we're so blessed, aren't we? We are so blessed with all these different combinations. It's like, it's really the manager's choice now. How do you want to play it? Because he can bring anybody in, and then you know you're going to get a great job and get a great performance. So it's hard to be asked this question. You know, what team would you start with? Because it's really, you're comfortable with anybody that takes to the field just now within that squad of 18, 20, whatever that number is. It's. But yeah, maybe that's only one addition I'd have, is maybe Roof coming in just to throw a bit of physicality at it. It's certainly not an irrelevance, this game. So certainly, I'm now looking at undefeated throughout the season. I'd like to see that. But they are now, Celtic are now just also runs. They are just as much as an irrelevance as Hibs and Aberdeen are. As now they've been put in their box, and that's where we should be keeping them.
Definitely, and the only pity is that James. I don't think James Tavernier will be back, but I would have loved him back for this game, both from a footballing and like a personal point of view. Is nobody in that squad of players deserves fucking this title more than him, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he's been right through it. He's been through a lot of bad beats after them as well over the years, so he does deserve to be on the pitch when we are champions, strolling on with that champions mentality. We're walking into that part, into Celtic Park as champions. So you're right, it's a shame that he might not make it. I'm not sure how his recovery's coming, but even give him a wee minute or two at the end would just be nice for him to be on the park just to see it out.
Scott, obviously as fans we are allowed to be arrogant when our team wins. It's part and parcel of following football, but I don't, and this is probably a bit of a nothing question, but I'm assuming that I can't see the Rangers players having the same arrogance or that same mentality. I do see them, what Graeme said there, that there is still something to achieve in the league, and I do still see them being very focused. I'd be very surprised if they turned up for a party on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a huge game. Like it's not getting away from that. So I don't think that Steven Gerrard and Gary Mack would allow it. I simply don't. If they think one player's not trying 100% and wanting, unless we're 4-0 up or something like that, then they've got no right to do that. There's still a lot to achieve. We want to be unbeaten throughout the full season. Still get Europe, hopefully, for this game as well. So, there'll be that. People want to be pushing for a place in the quarterfinals. It'll be like the quarterfinal teams if we get through. So still a huge amount to play for. And you look at the people like personally, I think Patterson's done enough with his performances like to be maybe forgiven for what he's done. But like if you're looking at players like Bassey, like they need to do if they come into the team, for example, I'm not saying for Sunday, but they need to play out their skin basically to get back in the manager's good books. And what Zungu, if he comes in for maybe a game or two, like you need to put in a Maradona-esque performance to try and get a contract. So there's a huge amount to be playing for at the moment. So yeah, as I said, I really don't think that anybody would allow people to be not playing at 100%.
Rangers issued a statement on Sunday, and it was from James Tavernier and Steven Gerrard. There was two separate ones, just urging fans to support the team from home on Sunday after the scenes in George Square and Ibrox last week. Graeme, I'll be honest, I think my parents must have wished Steven Gerrard was around 20 years ago. I've never been so inspired after being grounded, basically. Steven Gerrard, he's like told me to stay in, and I've nearly started crying. That was such a good statement, wasn't it?
Yeah, to the point, absolutely. It's the right thing as well. I don't think it was required, so I'll say that. I don't think it was required at all. I don't think anybody was going to Celtic Park. There's no fans were planning to go. It's been a political stunt for me. SNP have been absolutely hopeless the last 2 weeks, and they're just trying to get themselves out the headlines, deflections all over the place. We've got an election in 2 months, is it? About 7 weeks or so until the election. They are just deflecting. It was a political stunt for me. I don't imagine anybody was going to go to the stadium. Nobody went to the stadium at the last Old Firm game, so I don't see why we would be going. What would the reasoning be? to rub people's faces in it, but there's been nobody there. It doesn't make sense. I don't imagine anybody was going to go, and I don't think they're going to. If anybody's going to go now, it's going to be because there's been such a sort of stramash about it, or there's been such there's been a thing made out of it. So that's why people might be defiant and say, well, I'm not letting them tell me what today, I'm going to go. But if they hadn't said a word, nobody would have went. It's nonsense.
It's the scenes at George Square in Ibrox. Like last week, I said I wasn't going to condemn anybody that went, and well, that makes me right, wrong, and indifferent. So be it. But that was a one-off. This hasn't been a regular thing that's happened every second week where people have been turning up. That was a one-off because of an occasion. And whether you agree with it or not, you need to point out, if you're being fair, that was a one-off thing because Rangers won 55. I agree with you, the idea that we are now going to start going to every ground for every game. You know, what, in 2 weeks' time or 3-4 weeks' time, are we going to make a trip up to fucking Pittodrie to stand outside the gates and then get back down for Gerrard's post-match? But it was a very good statement nonetheless.
Aye, absolutely. I think it was probably an action that came out of the meeting. So there was I think it was a Friday, they had the meeting with the government, the police and the two clubs had probably SPFL were there as well. Fine, have the meeting, but I guess that's just something that came out the back of it was, you know, can we get a message from the club to reiterate that everybody should stay at home? Fine. What I think Steven Gerrard's done is delivered that message, but delivered it in such a way which was to the point, recognising the fans, acknowledging the fact that we would all like to be there, but a strong message that I hope everybody adheres to, which is just stay at home and watch a game.
As I said earlier, Steven Gerrard has spoken, and I will be watching from the comfort of my couch. Now, rounding off the episode, Twitter patter of the week. I'm going to be a bit cheeky and have two here. I should have mentioned this on Wednesday, Graeme, when we were talking about what was the most heartwarming photos and stuff that you've seen. How could I have forgot to mention Calvin Bassey and his fucking bucket hat? I loved it so much, I went and actually bought the bucket hat, the 55 bucket hat. And don't worry, I'm wearing it for this pod, listeners, but I'll post a photo so you can see how ridiculous I look in this bucket hat. It's too big for me. But I just wanted to get that in there. You look so fucking cool. I forgive him already just because of that photo. But my Twitter patter of the week came after the celebrations last week. I think this was posted on Sunday morning after all the fans had seen the Rangers players and staff celebrate. So it reads, all the players coming in with Bentley's... Sorry, I'm giggling reading it. All the players coming in with Bentley's, Porsches, BMW, Range Rovers, and then the bulging Andy Fuff screeches round the corner in a 13-point focus, grinning like a Cheshire cat. And I've said this before, Andy Fuff is my fucking spirit animal. I don't know if it's because my football career mirrored his, where I was just there for the patter, kind of turned up, didn't play much football, but he's just so happy all the time, man. I fucking love Andy Fuff. Hall of Fame contender. Scott, what have you got for us?
I'm going to be a bit cheeky too. I've got a couple there. So the first one, which kind of get off repeat, is the video of Happy Days, and it's got McGregor's post-match interview against Slavia Prague in it. So it's just obviously it was quite a you know what he's like in interviews, doesn't display much emotions, and after like us talking about the world class save and everything, he was just stuck my hand out in Happy Days. But somebody's put the theme tune of Happy Days into it there, where it's just absolutely tremendous. Couldn't stop laughing at it. And then my other one is there was I was a Rangers fan, like quote tweeted something that was like 500 Montpellier supporters give their players a huge send-off ahead of today's derby, and then somebody says, absolute joke, no seen my gran about 5 years and this happens. No context, Rangers retweeted it, so.
Graeme, what have you got for us?
Short and sweet, since you're taking up all the time in this feature. Mine was just a wee thing I seen on the follow the day, and it was just a one-liner that tickled me. Scotland, the only place on earth that could call off a behind closed door game due to crowd trouble. Kind of sums it up. But it was just a wee one-liner. I thought it was quite funny.
Tremendous. Well, all that's left to do is thank my two guests. First of all, Graeme Currie.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks, Scott.
And Scott Hodge.
Cheers, lads.
And thank you to everyone for listening. Hope you're taking care and staying safe and enjoying being champions. Take care.